Would it be fair to say that if we had discovered life on Mars, President Biden would have sent it money?
A Republican senator just handed the opposition their sharpest line of the year, and he did it at his own party's budget hearing. That was Senator John Kennedy of Louisiana, a Trump ally, standing across from OMB Director Russell Vought and agreeing, on the record, that the Biden administration spent so recklessly it might as well have wired money to aliens. And Vought nodded right along. What followed was 5 minutes of one of the most unusual exchanges in this budget cycle. Kennedy wasn't attacking Vought. He was using Vought as a witness. And what Vought confirmed, sitting in that chair, tells you exactly where this administration's fiscal credibility actually stands.
Mr. Director, welcome.
Thank you.
I want to ask you your thoughts on a few subjects. I consider you to be an expert on the federal budget and on public policy in general. I want to talk about the situation that you inherited from the Biden administration. Would it be fair to say that if we had discovered life on Mars, President Biden would have sent it money?
I think that's fair.
And would it be fair to say that the amount of money that President Biden and my Democratic friends spent was so outrageous that it resulted in 9% inflation? Is that a fair statement?
Precisely, and I was one of the people that was noting that at the time. They passed the bills that led directly to 9% inflation, historically so.
And that gutted middle-class Americans like a fish, did it not?
It was one of the most regressive taxes you can imagine.
You inherited a mess, didn't you?
Yes, sir.
Now, you took steps to try to put things in order. For example, at your suggestion, we clawed back, as I recall, about $1.1 billion that the American taxpayers were giving to NPR and PBS. Is that correct?
Correct.
And we were told, were we not, that if we did that, Western civilization would end as we know it.
We were told those types of things would occur if we did not fund that program.
But here we are. And NPR still exists, doesn't it?
As does PBS.
Right. Okay. I want to ask you another question that doesn't, well, it has to do with the budget a little bit. When he was alive, would you have given Charles Manson a nuclear weapon?
Absolutely not.
Isn't that what Iran's all about?
This country, the country that we are engaged with operations against, does not and should never have a nuclear weapon. They cannot be trusted with a nuclear weapon.
All right, in my last 2 minutes, and I'm going to stay within my time because our chairman here is tough as a boot and he's going to cut me off. Do you happen to know what our poverty rate is in America?
Yes, I mean, it's about 32,000 as a family of four, and it's this formula that you consider.
What percentage of Americans?
I don't know what percentage of Americans.
If you ask the Census Bureau, they tell you 11%. It's been 11 or 12% since God was a child. And I started looking at why that is. Are you aware that the Census Bureau, under its definition of poverty, only counts cash payments to the American people, not non-cash benefits? Were you aware of that?
I am aware of that.
And are you aware of the fact that if we count both cash benefits and non-cash benefits, for example, food stamps, which the Census Bureau says doesn't count. If we count non-cash benefits, all this money coming, of course, from the American people, that the poverty rate would be 1%. Don't you think we ought to give the American people credit for reducing poverty in our country? I'm proud of that. Are you aware, I got 32 seconds. These are the programs that the Census Bureau refuses to consider as part of the American people's gift to neighbors who are less fortunate than them. I'm gonna read them quickly. SNAP payments don't count. WIC payments don't count. Emergency food assistance doesn't count. Food distribution program on Indian reservations, the school breakfast program, the National School Lunch Program, the Special Milk Program, the Senior Farmers Market Nutrition Program. Medicaid doesn't count. CHIP doesn't count. Medicare doesn't count. Give me 10 seconds extra, Mr. Chairman. The Affordable Care Act subsidies don't count. Low-income housing assistance doesn't count. Weatherization doesn't count. Section 8 housing doesn't count. All these benefits that according to the Census Bureau says they don't count. If we counted them, the poverty rate would be 1%. And that's a rule set by the Census Bureau. Don't you think we ought to change that?
Senator, we definitely need to look at that. I don't think the American people are getting an accurate view of how well we are fighting poverty in this country, and I'm happy to work with you on that.
And a lot of people don't want the American people to know that, do they?
No, sir.
Well, you were generous.
That's a long 10 seconds.
I know.
Senator Warner.
But it was well spent, wasn't it?
You just watched a Republican senator use the Trump administration's own budget director as a prop to score points on a president his party already replaced. That's what that hearing was. Kennedy wasn't challenging Vought. He was performing alongside him. And the performance revealed something the prepared statements never would. Senator John Kennedy has built a career on the one-liner. The Mars joke landed because it was designed to... It's the kind of line that clips perfectly, travels fast on social media, and sounds like accountability without actually demanding any. But here's what makes this exchange worth watching twice. Vought confirmed every premise Kennedy handed him. Biden's spending caused 9% inflation, confirmed. The cuts to NPR and PBS were the right call, confirmed. Iran cannot be trusted with a nuclear weapon, confirmed. Kennedy wasn't interrogating Vought. He was building a joint narrative, using a Senate hearing as the stage. And then Kennedy pivoted to something genuinely substantive. He walked Vought through the Census Bureau's definition of poverty, a definition that counts only cash payments and excludes SNAP, Medicaid, Medicare, school lunch programs, Section 8 housing, and more than a dozen other non-cash benefit programs. Kennedy's point, if you counted all of it, the poverty rate in the United States would be 1%, not 11%. Vought agreed the census formula needs to change. That last part matters, because the same administration that wants credit for fighting poverty is simultaneously proposing cuts to the programs Kennedy listed as evidence that poverty is already being solved. Vought didn't address that contradiction. Kennedy didn't press it. They moved on. But it's sitting right there in the transcript. The FY 2027 budget Vought is defending proposes a nearly 50% increase in defense spending, $1.5 trillion, while cutting non-defense programs by $73 billion. That trade-off is what this hearing was supposed to examine. Kennedy gave Vought an easy 5 minutes. The harder question, who pays for the Iran war and how much will it cost, went unanswered. Vought told the committee the administration expects to ask for more defense money but couldn't give a number. That's the story, not the Mars joke. Watch what happens when Congress actually tries to pass this budget. The bipartisan goodwill in that hearing room evaporates the moment real numbers hit real votes. If you think it matters that a budget director can sit in front of the United States Senate and refuse to put a price tag on an active war, you already know what to do. Share this. The people who need to see it probably won't go looking for it themselves.